Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 1363. It's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont. Today we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. We get to the wonderful segment called A Fine Article, where we'll hear about some interesting things. And I am going to sing to you a little song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
There's a girl who does a podcast about relationships.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And it's a French name, and I was talking to somebody about her yesterday, and that she has some interesting thoughts and processes about what we get through in our relationships. And she had that thing. What the hell's her name? I want to say like Estelle Astaire or something. So I'm going to listen to her podcast, even though I don't know what it is.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And even though I'm not in a relationship with anyone, I have friendships, but I'm not in a relationship.
Mike's
quote unquote
Daily.
And I'm kind of happy about that.
Podcast.
Because it was a rough ride, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh. I was listening to Maroon 5 because I had to, because I was at my weekend job, and that's all we play is Maroon 5. I'm serious. Every hour, a damn Maroon 5 song. And I was a fan. The first album. What were they originally called? Clara's Flowers or Cara's Flowers? But they originally, they had the album This Love was on there, and Harder to Breathe, and She Will Be Loved. Look Who Just Walked In. But I cannot listen to Maroon 5 anymore because it reminds me so much of the entire life and death of my marriage. The first album, that's when I was first meeting my wife, and we were getting to know each other and falling in love. Look who else walked in. By the album that had Payphone on it, and that album has its dark undertones of relationships going bye-bye. Like I'm on a payphone trying to call you and all that crap. That's when it was over at that point. In fact, we were on a trip. We had done a trip. She wanted to do a trip for me. We drove down from the Bay Area to Ventura. And the podcast picture is not of Ventura, but I'll tell you in just a moment. And we drove down to Ventura, and I remember the whole time driving around Ventura, we're listening to the new Maroon 5, because I got it for her for,
And here's today's podcast picture.
I guess for some reason I got it for her, and we were listening, because she's a big fan of Maroon 5, and we're listening to it, and I'm like, this is it. I think this is the end. When it's the end of a relationship. A friend of mine yesterday just said goodbye to someone, had to end it, dumped the guy basically that she wasn't seeing for very long, but she met him on a dating app, and it was done because she wanted a relationship where someone invested some time, and that she didn't have to initiate everything, and that he was committed to making this grow, and he wasn't. He was like, they hadn't seen each other in 2 weeks, and he comes over at first, and it was this conversation before he showed up at her house. It was like, should I come over? I don't know. Do you want to come over? Well, yeah, I want to come over. And then he shows up, and she's like, wow, I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. And he goes, that's not long. And she said, that's it. That's when I knew. So she broke it off. And you know when the end is coming. Like, I know my roommate is going to be moving out soon. I know that end is coming soon. I can see the writing on the wall. He's looking into a new profession, a new line of work in his career. He's getting into the technology field, and I know that he's going to need to be closer to Silicon Valley and move out of Podcastro Valley. So I know this is all on its way. So Maroon 5, when I hear it, I think back to... And it's not, I guess it doesn't depress me. It just I'm always fascinated. I like to look back. Some people are sharks and they move forward. I say the unexamined life is not worth living. And I made up that statement. I made up that saying just now. Because I'm brilliant. No, I know it's an old saying. And if you don't get my sarcasm, that this show really sucks. So I guess, oops. But yeah, I'm a little sarcastic, a little sardonic. But that is what I like to look back, and I think you can improve your life if you look back and you go, okay, I've done that. I don't need to do that again, and I'm going to move forward, move into some other field, and it makes your life very interesting. It makes it worth living. So, that being said, what the hell up with Trump? Oh, hey, a couple people walked in. I guess that's why this show has got the liberal labels, because I bash Trump. I'm not... Look, here's the thing. Trump is a cockroach that a nuclear bomb went off, and the last thing to walk around on the earth will be cockroaches. Because they've got that super exoskeleton. And Trump himself once said something to the effect of, I can kill someone in broad daylight in New York and still get elected president. It's true. Nothing. It's like the coating that the ducks have on their feathers. And everything just rolls right off of it. Trump has that ability. And everybody, the press, the Democrats, even other Republicans going, wait, no, you can't get away with that. No, doesn't matter. He still gets away with it. And somebody, in fact, at work on Friday, after we did the podcast, and I'm sorry I didn't do one on Sunday. I could not do one yesterday. I tried, and I was just, I need a day off. I need to just sit here, watch C-SPAN, watch this beautiful woman talking about the Civil War and how it affected women. That's the lecture I watched yesterday. It was wonderful, and this woman was simply enchanting. And I said I need to just sit here and do this today and not do the not have anything to do with the podcast. I was going to help alphabetize some more stuff for my interviews. I was going to get more of that in line on my web page for my podcast. I just couldn't do it. So the lady that was on NPR yesterday morning with the lovely NPR's Lulu Garcia Navarro, who used to go by the name Lourdes Navarro, but now she's Lulu Garcia Navarro. She does such a great job on Sundays. She was talking to Mary Rose Papandrea, who is of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. She's a law professor there, and they were talking about something that, I just want to shove this article in the face of a coworker. I was sitting there in the break room eating a Burger King breakfast burrito. Don't ask me why. Okay, I'll tell you why. The general manager likes to bring us, the morning crew, wonderful, horrible fast food breakfast on Fridays. We call it Fast Food Friday. And I figure it's okay if it's the only day of the week I do it. So I was eating my breakfast burrito, and this guy, one of the salesmen, comes in, and there's a newspaper sitting there on the table, and he looks at it and he goes, "Wow, this Comey, he's going to get thrown in jail." And I said to him, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, he
because you'd be in jail.
Because he gave out all that information. He leaked. He's a traitor, espionage, thrown in jail." Conspiracy, whatever the word is, Espionage Act, violating the Espionage Act. So the NPR yesterday discussed leakers, because that's all that we had in the news last week, with Reality Lee Winner, the government contractor, the 25-year-old, and Mary Rose Papandrea said this about Comey. Lulu asked, "Is it unlikely that Comey will be prosecuted?" And Papandrea said, "It's unlikely." Papandrea was asked, the law professor was asked, is it illegal that Comey shared the contents of his memos with the press? As you'll recall, he shared it through the friend that he knew at Columbia State University. Papandrea said no, and we talked a little bit about this on the last podcast. It's probably not, said Papandrea. It doesn't appear that he shared any classified information. And there's been an argument that perhaps he was revealing information that might be covered by an executive privilege. But even if that were true, listen up, coworker, that staunch conservative coworker I work with, who just listens to everything the conservative press puts out and regurgitates it. But even if that were true, it appears Trump has waived any privilege by talking openly himself about his interactions with Comey. He has talked openly over and over again. He talked with NBC guy about it, Lester Holt. I wanted to say Larry Brock. He's got one of those news anchor names. It's Larry Brock. Lester Holt. He has tweeted about this stuff. He's done all the leaking already. And you want to throw Comey in jail? What? And look, I talked about the Comey Conundrum last show, about how it's difficult for a Democrat like me to defend Comey with what he did with Hillary, and talking about, oh, there's more we're looking into, the Anthony Weiner stuff, and their emails there, it has Hillary leaked, and Hillary did this and that. And then we've got your whole Loretta Lynch thing. Oh, okay. You know what? And yeah, that's the Obama administration. Loretta Lynch, if she crossed the line there, she should be interrogated, and we need to find out what's going on with that. Supposedly, I don't have that information in front of me, but let me recall in my brain, at my 6:15 in the morning brain, 6:25. She basically asked Comey to name it something different than what it was, looking into Hillary's emails. She asked for some special privileges, basically. So that's wrong, too. That's basically politics in a nutshell, my friend. And so Comey leaking legally, no. You may disagree. But I tried so hard to work on the show yesterday, and I didn't. But you can still check out the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com, and hear all the past shows. You can call me and tell me what you think about relationships, about Comey, about Trump, about anything, about life, the unexamined life not being worth living and all that. You can call me at 336-MM-DAILY, because I'm Mike Matthews, and this is a daily show. 336-MM-DAILY. And all the past interviews. If you'd like to buy anything, too, on Amazon, go through my website first at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com, and that helps us out tremendously. There's also the PayPal, and you'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters who we've completely blown right past by a gain. Hello, everyone. Hello, Michael Master to Madame Rootabega. I fell asleep while you were talking. Ooh. Thank you. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Mike, we also fell asleep, too. And Bison tried to spoon me. No, I didn't. Do you know that? All right. Wonderful TMI. And now, a fine article is the name of this one. A fine article. By the way, I had so much fun walking with my friend and her dog and my dog, Basil the Boxer. It's such a good activity. You should, if you have a dog, walk your dog every day. And don't just walk him on the weekend. And oh my God, yesterday, I run into all these people that take their dog out maybe one day a week on that Sunday. And their dog is on leash and crazy and nuts. And I just know that they're the one-day walkers because I don't see them the rest of the week. Where the hell have they been? Oh, busy with work and job and life and kids and stuff. Walk your dog. If you got a dog, you got to walk them. They got energy, and they go nuts if you just leave them at home. That's my dog tip of the day. Should we call this the
word of dog?
Yeah. So walk your dog. I ran into so many. I don't know what is going on in Podcastro Valley. But some days, like Saturday, I walked into all these wonderful, nice people, so many friendly people. And then Sunday, it was all mean, just very, very vitriol everywhere. It was a vitriolic world I was walking through on Sunday. People were just mean. I was trying to sit down at Cafe Rumi, and people with their dogs stared at me like, you better not bring your dog here. Damn it. And I'm like, okay, you're a nice couple, thanks. Continue eating in silence. I've been there where you're eating in silence. You go out to eat and you just sit there eating like fast as can be and not talking at all. What the hell? That's not what's enriching about you might as well have just stayed at home and ate a frickin' peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You don't go out and not talk. I don't understand couples that eat in restaurants together. They go and they pay for this bill. They pay for the right to someone to cook for them. And then they don't talk to each other at all. They sit there in silence. Hey, a great married couple I know is Bunny and Joe. And I went over to their house on Friday and brought along my wonderful karaoke equipment. And Bunny Joe and Bunny's daughter Christy and her husband and their friends all showed up, and we sang songs all night with my karaoke. Probably the best part of the evening was when I sang Tim McGraw's Don't Take the Girl. And everybody, I could not believe it. Nobody knew that song. Maybe you don't know that song, but it was a huge country hit, and I had to play it over and over again when I was on country radio in the 90s. And oh my God, I sang that song, and people were like, this is a depressing song. The woman dies in the end. And I said, no, she doesn't. If you watch the music video, she lives. But attorneys general for the District of Columbia and the state of Maryland say they will sue Trump on Monday. They allege that he has violated anti-corruption clauses in the Constitution by accepting millions in payments and benefits from foreign governments since moving into the White House. The lawsuit, the first of its kind, brought by government entities, centers on the fact that Trump chose to retain ownership of his company when he became a president of our country. Trump said in January that he was shifting his business assets into a trust management by his sons to eliminate potential conflicts of interest. Meanwhile, Preet Bharara, the former U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York, said yesterday that President Trump called him 3 times before he was fired. He reported at least one call to his chief of staff. So this is all kind of about like what Comey got a bunch of phone calls from Trump. And Preet said, it's a very weird and peculiar thing for a one conversation without the Attorney General, without warning between the President and me or any United States attorney who has been asked to investigate various things and is in a position hypothetically to investigate business interests and associates of the President. He said Trump called him twice during the transition, and once after the inauguration. He said he never returned the final call. So the call came in, I got a message, we deliberated over it, thought it was inappropriate to return the call, and 22 hours later I was asked to resign, along with 45 other people, he says. Then Trump decided to crash a couple parties over the weekend. The first dance, the toast, the cake cutting, the what? All of a sudden, there is the president walking into your wedding. He can't resist crashing a party, especially when the bride is a hot blonde. Yeah, that might have had something to do with it. Because you know he's got a thing for his daughter. Showed up to at least 2 private events this weekend at the Trump National Golf Course in New Jersey. On Saturday night, he dropped in on a wedding reception taking place at his golf club. When POTUS showed... I hate when people say POTUS or FOTUS or SCOTUS and all those showed up to our wedding. Oh, they posted on Instagram. He stopped by to say hello to the wedding party. Who cares? But hey, if you're a conservative, if you're a Republican, if you're a Trump supporter, that's the best thing that could have ever happened. And finally, let's say you've got an iPhone, and you know I bash the Apple, even though I own an iPhone, but I don't. It's the one I'm not using currently as my phone. I just have it. I basically use it as an iPod now. But hey, you run out of storage all the time, don't you? How to fix that? Well, according to CNBC, you should clear out old messages. Messages take up a lot of space on your iPhone. You can stop your phone from saving them by going to settings. And then you go to the messages part and you tap keep messages and change it from either forever or 1 year. Because that's what the default is, and then you set it to 30 days. You can also keep your photos in the cloud instead of your device, and thereby letting people be able to hack your iCloud account and post them all over the internet. Or you can try a bit of magic. Redditors noticed that if you're running low on space, you can head to the iTunes store to attempt to rent a movie. As long as the movie file is larger than the space you have available, your attempt to rent it will fail and you won't get charged. But just by trying to make that attempt, it will force your phone to clear its pipes. Doing this several times in a row, they were able to free up more than 3 gigabytes of space. Also, you can do something that, oh, wait, I shouldn't say this, but you can kill the podcasts. You get on a podcast kick for a week and subscribe to about 20 podcasts and then move on, except the podcast app will keep downloading new episodes as they come out. Maybe you've gotten all my podcasts, and I post 5 a week, so that's clogging up your memory. You can go to settings, podcast, and select limit episodes. And I don't even download the podcasts that I listen to my phone. I just listen through, it does a thing where you just listen through the streaming. It's like a streaming function. I don't know exactly what it is, and delete all those accidental videos, burst photos, and screenshots that you probably forgot you have. Delete all the junk, and that will help it be a wonderful world. This will be, as we go outside a cafe anyway, we're rigging Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. This has been a fun show. We got through a lot. We got through the heartache and the pain, and I think we got to a happy place. And examine your life, or unexamine it, I don't know. But make it... Don't just, you know what I'm saying? Don't be a shark. Don't just keep moving. Look back, and you know what? The past gives you ideas for the future. I look back, and I go, I'm going to do this. Because I've never done it before, have I? I thought I was going to go do this, but I've done that. Been there, done that, going to move on. Next show... We're going to hear from some wonderful characters like Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere, the engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!